Hello, IGN. My name is Jose Otero. I'm here with guest Ryan Payton from Camouflage.
Hey, guys.
And we are looking at Republic, but this is not the Republic we'd seen before. So why don't you tell us what this is?
Well, Jose. Well, thanks for having me. This is what we're calling Republic Remastered. It's after 3 episodes, we finally decided to bring the game to PC and Mac. So,
okay.
Yeah,
wow.
and we did it all not just like as a straight up port. I was really nervous about doing a mobile to PC port. I think those things are, for the most part, pretty terrible, and so we decided to instead completely remaster the game in the upcoming new engine from Unity called Unity 5.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna skip through this.
Sure.
Thank you, Cooper. And yeah, you can probably tell if anybody's played the iOS version. I think that we're really proud of how the game looks on iOS and Android, but that we've done a massive visual upgrade thanks to
more reflections, a lot more texture detail. These are not the same textures.
Oh yeah, well there's a lot of without getting a little bit too technical, it's texture detail, but it's also the shader from Unity 5. It's all physically based. So the shader actually adds all these scuff marks. The Enlighten and the new dynamic lighting system that we're using creates all of these things. So normally we would pre-bake these into the textures, but this is all happening in real time, more like how real life works.
Yeah, and you're also quickly sort of manipulating the camera, zooming at the same time. Now these are all things that if you've played the PC version, the iPhone version like I have, these were gestures that you were kind of doing independently.
Correct.
You're able to do these all at once, I'm noticing here.
Yes, yeah, so WASD for the camera controls, and then mouse and click to send hope.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've spent a ton of time with like all these different hotkeys to make the game feel like a true PC experience from a control perspective, but then also the visual upgrade I felt like was the missing piece that we needed before we brought the game to PC.
What resolution are we looking at right now for the gearheads at home?
Oh, this is 920 by 1080. So
okay.
But yeah, we support all different types of PC specs. So we have I think a really reasonable min spec.
Okay.
And then yeah, if you have a pretty decent PC, you can actually have everything up on high settings. So
yeah, wow. So this is the library, which is a really important part of episode 2, which came out last year. And one of the things that I mean, a lot more shadow detail, a lot more like sort of detail on each surface, even.
Yeah, well, I'm really just so proud of like the art team and the Unity engineers who helped us out, as one of like the leading, first early games of Unity 5. And yeah, we've just been really lucky to be able to just kind of partner ourselves up with like a lot of smart people who know a lot about this stuff, a lot more than I do. I just kind of check out the game every day and see how the things are going, and give suggestions on lighting and and making sure that we're still directing the player in the proper ways.
Yeah, and a couple of other things just to point out that at least are standing out to me is, for example, the glow on Hope's face, and it's coming from the phone, from the lighting on the glass screen of the phone. Even on her collar,
you can even see
purple. Yeah, and I noticed that became more pronounced in episode 2 actually compared to episode 1. But seeing it now on PC in sort of a higher resolution, that looks really cool.
Yeah, no, we try to make certain accents happen, and that's the reason behind the pink collar to begin from way back in 2011 when we started the game, was to make sure that players knew where she was in the map, and so yeah, we really kind of make the pink fluorescent collar really pop and make sure the players know where she is.
So for folks who played episode 2, this is kind of your little homage to Resident Evil.
It's very much.
I don't know if it's
I don't know if I'd say kind of. I think it's very much a homage to Resident Evil.
Okay, so talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, you could just see, in terms of the art style and like the moodiness of this episode, and what we try to do. I'll tell you a really quick story that I hope you find interesting. But one of the creative things that we did, the part of the creative process in episode 2 is that we asked the team to actually create fake game reviews of episode 2 before we even started the work on it.
Okay.
And I wanted to see what the team thought would be the strengths or weaknesses of episode 2. And so one of the ideas that came out of that was just in somebody wrote up like a review of the game, a fake review, was that there would be these roaming Prizrak that would the enemies, what we call the Prizrak, that there'd be these random patrol routes that would keep people on their toes, which kind of reminded them about how the zombies would be in Resident Evil. And I don't know if you've played the recent remake or the remaster of the original Resident Evil, and for me, I find that game terrifying because I'm not quite sure where the zombies are, and I really like that feeling. And one of the things I don't like about stealth action games a lot of the time is it comes down to here's an example of like what I'm talking about is that it doesn't come down to pattern recognition. That's a big thing I don't like about stealth action games, and I wanted to really embraced that idea about having randomized patrols. And so now we have these instances, like I've played this mission hundreds of times. I did not know. There's no way I could have known that Prizrek was going to come out of that door. So
yeah. And they're definitely ones you can't kind of predict where they're coming from. And I remember in episode 2 constantly going, man, like what a why?
Yeah.
Like I was just trying to get from one side to the other.
These guys are serious, like what were you going to say?
Professional?
Yeah,
professional.
Professional.
No, I completely agree. Definitely trolling the player a lot. Yeah, and also, wow, even like sort of these transitions. This looks a lot.
Oh man, the team's just done a ton of work, and
and you guys have touched this up like considerably.
Yes,
this is not like you said, just a port.
Yeah, we're not just like up-resing everything. We did every single texture. There's I think 10,000 individual materials that we've updated into the game. It was a massive undertaking, and yeah, we add a lot of more detail. Like you've noticed, it's not just your eyes playing tricks on you. Like the game does have a lot more detailed elements. Things that we didn't like about the first 3 episodes, we've changed from the graphic perspective, animation perspective, audio perspective, gameplay perspective.
Yeah, and if you're still curious and weren't familiar with what Republic is, obviously a stealth action game, but one where you are directing a character, in this case Hope. You're playing the role of yourself. This isn't like you're stepping into the role of someone else, but rather you are trying to keep this young person alive and get her out of Metamorphisis, which is this sort of, I mean, how would you describe it?
Metamorphosis, we call it a kind of a secret Orwellian, secret totalitarian nation that's not on any map.
Okay. And there's a lot of conversations. Essentially, during this journey to survive, you are sort of getting glimpses and peering into this world and getting a lot of information out of it. And sort of one of the things that stood out to me is that it sort of turns the acquisition of information into like honestly a gameplay kind of idea.
Yeah, which is
learning more about the world as you continue to progress.
Exactly, and hacking is a big part of it. Like you just saw, like for safety's sake, I just locked the door behind me just in case that Prizrek was going to come through here or not. And yeah, episode 2 is a lot more about puzzles. Episode 3 is more encounter focused.
Yeah. So what about the sort of the pickpocket and the other sort of UI?
Oh yeah,
shortcuts.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's something we've added here. This is a hotkey. You can just use Q, and you can select all your different weapons. Here's a little sneak preview about what's a new weapon that we introduced in episode 3. We have F to find Hope. So if you manually switch to cameras, from a far off distance, and you're just investigating things and you just want to see what's going on, you can always hit F, and then you'll just immediately find the closest camera to Hope.
Yep.
The tab button is our new 3D map that we introduced with episode 2, which is looking really nice on the PC version. And then and also just like when you go into OmniView, just a space bar. That's a big part of our game, is like that loop is you go into OmniView and then you hack cameras and you just send Hope somewhere else.
And you've also still got Help Desk, which is another thing that came out with episode 2, right?
Exactly.
Just something to help folks along who may not be that familiar.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
So people get stuck, and then we have hotkeys associated with all those elements as well. So.
All right.
Yeah. No, this is. I hope it comes across as, because it really was an exhaustive effort, I think, on the part of the Camouflage team to make not just a port of our game, but to make a full, really, I think, respectful version, a desktop version for PC and Mac players.
Yeah, definitely. Well, when's this coming out?
February 26th. Thank you, Witcher 3, for pushing to May. We really, really wanted to come out that week, and God bless you guys. So we're really excited. It's going to come out right before GDC, and yeah, we're really excited to see what people think of it.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Ryan, for bringing in the game. And for more, the official title, please.
Oh, Republique Remastered.
There we go. Republique Remastered coverage. Make sure you keep it right here at IGN.